Hello everyone, welcome at the Factpod about the chances for a blockchain to enhance transparency in supply chains regarding the bio-based and circular economy. So first of all, why supply chains? Logistics are seen as a key influencer in delivering customer values. Nowadays, due to globalization, outsourcing, increased competition, supply chains have become more complex and the number of actors has generally increased. And this complexity has resulted in different problems, such as the traceability of products. And the traceability of products in this factpod can be seen under the guise of transparency. And with a lack of transparency, it is impossible to verify that a product, to verify the true value of a product in a supply chain. And to create this transparent supply chains has become more difficult due to the complexity. Okay, so what does this have to do with a bio-based and circular economy? Bio-based and circular companies seek to capture additional value by being circular or bio-based. But without transparent supply chains, it is impossible to verify that your product is 100% bio-based or 100% circular. Furthermore, circular supply chains have become more complex because the value is retained. There needs to be more cooperation among the supply chain, and this also asks for more transparency. To show this in practice, we are going to look at the case of the wood industry. Now, on the board, I drew a simplified supply chain of wood. It starts at the woodland, then it goes to the sawmill, then it goes to the factory, then it goes to the wholesaler, to the retailer, and it ends up at the end consumer. Regarding the circular economy, wood is, for example, mentioned to replace current materials coming from fossil fuels. And in a circular economy, the wood in the end ends up somewhere else in the economy or somewhere else back in the chain. Regarding the bio-based economy, wood waste is, for example, mentioned as an important input for biorefineries. So the waste coming from this supply chain can be put into a biorefinery from a bio-based economy, which may be linear. In both of these cases, you want to reduce the CO2 emissions to the lowest level. And to do this, you need to know where the product is coming from, how it is logged, if it is sustainably logged, legally logged, how the wood is processed. These are all things that you need to know. To do this, you need to trace back information through the entire chain, from the end user back to the woodland. Nowadays, to do this, this is mainly done by two mechanisms, which are balanced identification systems and individual identification systems. Balanced identification systems is about information flowing from one actor to the other one, and these are just information flows. Individual identification systems are really following a piece of wood, and this can be done by marks and stamps, plastic tags, DNA analysis, isotopic analysis, and there's also an emerging trend of the Internet of Things. With the Internet of Things, objects can interact with each other, and this is in the wood industry is enabled through barcodes and RFID codes. However, when we look at the end of a product and it comes at the end consumer, you get a piece of wood with information, and the trustworthiness of this information relies on centralized authorities. This means, for example, when on this piece of paper there's information from the factory to the wholesaler, there is an authority who is responsible for this data, which means this system, this centralized system, do not shut out the possibility of fraud. It still relies on trust between organizations, between people. So this is this is a problem faced in current supply chains. And this could be solved by a blockchain. A blockchain is a distributed ledger system. I'm going to remove this first. It's a distributed ledger system which keeps and records information in a distributed ledger. This ledger is visible and audible for every participant in the chain and is secured with cryptographic algorithms, which means the possibility of fraud is eliminated. Furthermore, when something is added in the blockchain technology, you cannot delete it, and it means that you can always track back information. So how does this work? When someone in the chain wants to add information, this is put into a block. And then, for example, from the woodland to the sawmill, and then from the sawmill to the factory, more information is put in to a block. And in the end, you get blocks which are connected with each other. So this is what is happening. To create a new block of information, in the blockchain technology, this chain is sent to all of the participants in a supply chain, and they need to verify if the information added is true. And through this consensus mechanism, then after this consensus mechanism, the block is added to the supply chain. So what does this mean? This means that, again, a product ends up at the end consumer, and you want to know where it's coming from. You can track back where it has been, what kind of wood you have, what is the quality of the wood, the quantity, the location where it has been, and also the ownership of it. So this means when there's something wrong with your piece of wood in the end, and you want to see where it went wrong in the supply chain, then you can, with the blockchain technology, you can see where did it went wrong. In the woodland it was all right in the block, in the sawmill it was right, in the factory it was right, and then at the wholesaler, for example, it went wrong. And because of the blockchain, you can track back the information without the possibility that it's deleted. And you can also not commit fraud because of the cryptographic algorithms. So, and in addition to this, with smart